What is it? The Village of Wheeling Workshop is now called to order. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Trustee Argyris.
Here.
Trustee Hein.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Here.
Trustee Vogel.
Here.
Trustee Here.
Here.
Trustee Lang.
Here.
President Abiscato.
Here. Proclamations.
National Athletic Training Month, March 2013. Athletic trainers have a long history of providing quality health care for athletes and those engaged in physical activity based on specific tasks, knowledge, and skills acquired through their nationally regulated educational processes. Athletic trainers provide prevention of injuries, recognition, evaluation, and aggressive treatment, rehabilitation, healthcare administration, education, and guidance. The National Athletic Trainers Association represents and supports 35,000 members of the athletic training profession employed in the following settings: professional sports, college and universities, high schools, clinics and hospitals, corporate and industrial settings, military branches. Leading organizations concerned with athletic training and healthcare have joined together in a common desire to raise public awareness of the importance of the athletic training profession and to emphasize the importance of quality health care within the aforementioned settings. Such an effort will improve health care for athletes and those engaged in physical activity and promote athletic trainers as allied health professionals. Judy Abiscato, President of the Village of Wheeling, proclaims the month of March as National Athletic Training Month in the Village of Wheeling and urges all citizens of Wheeling to learn more about the importance of athletic training. Professional Social Work Month, March 2013. The social work profession creates pathways to full participation in society. The primary mission of social work is to enhance human well-being and help meet the basic needs of all people, especially the most vulnerable. For over 100 years, social workers have helped America's leaders weave the national social safety net. Every day, social workers address the emotional, psychological, economic, and physical needs of millions of people. Social workers help clients use their strength, resilience, and self-advocacy to navigate life challenges. Social workers help people function better in their environments, improve their relationships with others, and solve personal and family problems through a wide range of psychosocial services. Social workers assist individuals and families at every stage of life from all communities. Social workers advocate for fairness and access to resources that benefit the most people. Social work is currently one of the fastest growing professions in the United States. Social workers are employed in many different organizations and industries, including private and public agencies, hospice and hospitals, schools and universities, businesses and foundations, military branches and veterans center, as well as national and local public elected offices. Social workers celebrate the courage, strength, and determination of the human spirit and work to empower others to hope, dream, and believe in their own potential. In recognition that our nation would be less successful without the contributions of America's 650,000 social workers, Judy Abiscato, President of the Village of Wheeling, proclaims the month of March 2013 as Professional Social Work Month and calls upon all citizens to join with the Village of Wheeling and the National Association of Social Workers in celebration and support of the social work profession.
And our Director of our Social Services, we thank you.
Severe Weather Preparedness Week, March 3rd through the 9th. Wherever and whenever severe weather strikes, preparedness and awareness are key to protecting residents throughout Wheeling. The spring and summer months are especially prone to conditions that create severe weather, such as thunderstorms, lightning strikes, floods, and tornadoes, and for these reasons, the American Red Cross and the National Weather Service launched an annual awareness campaign at the start of spring. During this effort, the Illinois Emergency Management Agency works to inform the public about necessary steps one should take to be prepared for severe weather, including the creation of an emergency action plan. The Illinois Emergency Management Agency dutifully has sought to inform and educate residents that a proper emergency action plan includes staying alert during severe weather conditions, having a designated safe areas in home and businesses, maintaining a reliable method of obtaining official news and information by radio, television, or NOAA all hazards radio, and knowing how and when to turn off utilities in homes. Judy Abiscato, President of the Village of Wheeling, does hereby proclaim March 3rd through the 9th, 2013 as Severe Weather Awareness Week throughout Wheeling, and further urges all the people of Wheeling to learn more about and to participate in severe weather preparedness activities available in the area.
Chief McIsaac. We always know we're prepared.
Your sirens.
That's right. Thank you.
Okay.
First of all, it's really nice to see everybody tonight. It's a little, if it's correct, a treat. We welcome you to the village's third community workshop event. I'd like to begin by thanking the Wheeling Park District, the Wheeling Township, the Indian Trails Library, District 214, and District 21 for their participation today. These organizations have not come here tonight to make presentations to the village board. We've invited them to use our platform to speak to the community as a whole, to describe their current curriculums, and to outline their goals for the coming year if they choose to do so. We hope that coming together in this collective forum may allow each of us to speak to audiences that we don't normally reach, and may awaken us to new opportunities for cooperation to better service our shared communities. Since we're the host, I will start this evening with that promise, which will be very brief because unaccustomed to public speaking as I am. I will share some good news with you. Last year, the village issued permits for construction valued over $51 million, a $4 million increase over 2011. Wheeling's industrial vacancy rate is now below 6%, the lowest in the region. We've even been getting inquiries for new industrial construction, and which maybe a year ago, which would never be heard of. The Heritage Park project, which you now see and wonder what it is well underway. The village is proud to assist our friends at the Wheeling Park District and the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District with this important flood control initiative, which includes 6 stormwater storage areas with a total capacity of more than 49 million gallons, some of which can be used now to promote further development. We've seen new facilities built at Chicago Executive Airport. You know, we always forget that we are part owners of that airport. And they are continuing to improve and continuing to build more. And we always hope to have a strategic plan so that we can go further and people will know about the Chicago Executive Airport. This year, we've also seen the expansion and renovation of our Walmart store and welcome new businesses like Advanced Auto, Marco's Pizza, Children's Land Learning Center to town, and on Restaurant Road, we've seen much anticipated opening of D. Augustino's Pizzeria, as well as the ongoing success of our old favorite, which is Bob Chin's Crab House, which Forbes magazine recently named the top grossing restaurant in America, and here we have it in the village of Wheeling. Doesn't that help our taxes? And Wheeling continues to benefit from being the home of the Korean Cultural Center. The center recently celebrated the opening of the beautiful traditional pavilion, a gift from the city of Busan in the Republic of Korea. I'm confident that the relationships we forged with the Korean community will continue to be productive and profitable. And if you have not gone down Wolf Road to see the Korean Cultural Center and that beautiful pavilion, I recommend that you go down and see it. It's really a beautiful sight. So while things are pretty good in Wheeling, the village has also tried to be bold and creative in seeking out new ideas, new partnerships, new opportunities to help our residents. We have done this in a number of ways. If you remember last year, you, the voters, all the voters, authorized us to partner with 6 other municipalities to aggregate the purchase of electricity, which I'm sure you have seen on your bill has lowered the cost of your electric. In conversations we've had with our industrial community, the one thing we keep hearing is a common complaint. Despite the high unemployment rate, it's hard for them to find the skilled workers that they need to run their high-tech manufacturing operations. Therefore, the village has worked hard to help make connections between local businesses, workforce development agencies, and educational institutions to prepare the workers of tomorrow. The village recently partnered with ITEL and HP Cooperations, District 214, and local manufacturers to introduce a high-performance computing pilot program which helps local industrial businesses access powerful tools that aid them in designing products and bringing them to market, therefore becoming more competitive internationally. This program is designed to be scaled regionally and nationally, and guess what? It started here in Wheeling, and Dr. Lopez and his staff at Wheeling High School deserve special praise for making it such a success. We also are proud to partner with the Wheeling Industrial Network and other agencies to create the Manufacturing Career Internship Program, a grant-funded initiative that pairs manufacturers in need of skilled workers with motivating young people who hope to start careers in industry. You know, the sad part is everybody wants their child to go to college, but sometimes the children don't want to go to college, but they need to be trained. They need to learn something. They need to learn to be an asset to their community, to their families. And this is a great way for them to get started in an industrial career. We'll follow up with the success of this program with Wheeling over the grant-funded program designed to provide the training, support to unemployed and underemployed residents who have the desire to drive to start and run their own business. So it's an opportunity of, if you don't want to go to college, we want everybody to go to college, but they still will have that desire where they can learn and be able to have that initiative. Or if they have a product that they think is really great and don't know where to start, they can get help in starting that business. And these aren't the only examples of doing things differently to benefit the community. During the past year, we've responded to a challenging real estate market by making targeted investments in Wheeling-owned properties to reduce barriers to future development and to get them back on the tax rolls faster. Taking advantage also of the lower interest rates, we've completed another round of debt refinancing, bringing the total savings achieved under this and last year's program to almost $800,000. Our senior center is progressing. Their aggressive effort to coordinate its programs with our friends of the Indian Trails Library and the Wheeling Park District, and looking for ways to improve and to have the resources to gather together and bring services to as many residents as possible. As those examples show, the village can be bold and creative while still making responsibility use of the revenues we collect. We also strive to sustain and maintain our levels of service, ensuring that we receive a solid return on the investment of our residents' tax dollars. For instance, we're going to be in this project for $3.5 million project that will replace, and if you're ready, 8,000 existing water meters with a state-of-the-art automatic meter reader. And what it'll do is, if there's a problem with the water, or if there's a problem someplace, we'll be able to get on it right away. And also, we will have to safeguard our water supply, and the village already rehabilitated both an emergency standby well and the elevated tank at Milwaukee and Center. And I'm sure you've probably noticed the village's new logo painted on the tank. If you haven't, take a ride by so that you're familiar. During the past year, the village also took critical steps to maintain public safety. We completed the complex process of adopting new international building and fire codes, helping to ensure that our new construction is safe and reliable. We replaced and upgraded our tornado warning siren system, and you may have heard it during the last few months that we've had some tests. And in this year, the Wheeling Police Department not only received renewal of its advanced law enforcement accreditation, but was also recognized for completing 22 continuous years as an accredited agency. The village continues to seek opportunities to make their residents and the businesses a safe place to live. I hope this gives you a fair sense of where the village of Wheeling is and where it hopes to go in the future. Like all municipalities in this new economy, we still sometimes find ourselves navigating unfamiliar territory, facing serious challenges. But with good leadership and good judgment, with the expert skills of our hardworking staff, with the generosity of our volunteers, with the drive and ingenuity of our businesses, with the strong partnership with all of tonight's guests, and with the engaged support of 40,000 people who trust us to keep their village running, I have no doubt that we will continue to grow and to prosper and make this a safe and wonderful place for all of you to live. Thank you. The Wheeling Township, Dr. Schroeder, are you here this evening? There you are. Welcome.
I thank you for having Wheeling Township here this evening. Mayor Abbruscato, members of the board, we appreciate the opportunity to partnership with you. And now seeing the crowd that you have here in the past, this is a much bigger crowd than we've had in the past when you have these community partnerships coming out. So I'd like to thank you. And I just wanted to take an opportunity. Last year we presented a PowerPoint presentation talking about our social service agencies and what the township does. Tonight, if it's okay with you, what I'd like to do is talk to you about two areas where the township offers services that the Wheeling residents have really taken advantage of, and I just wanted to talk about those, and that's our transportation department and our food pantry. Mayor Abbruscato was just talking about leadership. My definition of leadership is bringing the best available to where it's needed the most. So in those areas, I'd like to talk about our food pantry. Our Director of General Assistance oversees our food pantry. When our GA Director left Wheeling Township, we went on a hunt to bring the best GA Director we could find to Wheeling Township. Our GA Director, Julie Villarreal, used to be the Director of Elk Grove Township's GA, and she was a General Assistance training instructor for the state of Illinois. Other than our staff cost to oversee our food pantry, all our other costs are funded by donations. There are no tax dollars used for the food pantry. We have tripled the size of our food pantry. When we underwent a renovation in our tripling the size, we had donated architectural services, donated flooring, installation of our flooring. Mariano's donated 13,000 pounds of food and a check for $2,500. We've had donations from schools, churches, chambers of commerce, all making huge donations to our township food pantry. We have 25 hardworking volunteers in the pantry. Before the expansion, we averaged approximately 160 visits a month. After the expansion, we are averaging 390 visits a month, and no one has ever turned away for food. There are 452 households from Wheeling that used our food pantry, and 1,369 family members. So about 23% of our visits are from Wheeling residents. We also have a transportation department. Our entire board is committed to the transportation of our seniors and disabled so that they can remain in their homes and be independent. The first thing we did was we brought in an insurance expert to look at how things were being done. Once we solidified our process, we expanded our services. We went from a curb-to-curb service to a door-to-door service. We lease 6 vehicles from Pace, and we pay about $100 to $150 a month for these vehicles. We have formed intergovernmental agreements with the Village of Arlington Heights, and we have a service agreement for the maintenance of our vehicles. We now have a fleet of 10 buses and 12 drivers, 4 of whom are full-time. We have an intergovernmental agreement with our highway department to have the highway department purchase 1 bus a year so we can keep our fleet up to date, because we need to have great vehicles out there taking our most frail population. Last year, we provided 26,000 rides. We asked the seniors for a $2 donation for our ride. We delivered the ride at a cost of $17 to the township. We also are involved with 4 other townships with funding from the state of Illinois to provide rides outside of our township boundaries for medical appointments. We partner with Pace to provide these rides. We provided 1,296 rides to our residents at an average cost of $40 a ride. So with Pace, we do $40. When we're providing the service within the township, our cost is about $17 a ride. We have 527 registered riders from the Village of Wheeling. On a daily basis, we provide transportation to the Wheeling Pavilion Senior Center. Approximately 28% of our rides on our medical vans are for Wheeling residents. 20% of our annual rides on our Dial-A-Bus are Wheeling residents. For the Wheeling residents, the township delivered over 6,200 rides in the last fiscal year. I hope that you see the benefit of the township as much as we see the benefit of the partnership with the Village of Wheeling. I appreciate the opportunity to come out here this evening and present to you, and we look forward to the continued partnership.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We have a presentation by our Executive Director, Jan Butz of the Wheeling Park District.
Thank you. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank President Abascato and the trustees for holding this community workshop. It's a great opportunity for us to communicate the Park District's mission and increase the overall awareness of what we offer in parks and recreation to our residents. Last week, we held the State of the Park District address at our Chevy Chase Country Club. And during that event, we presented a video that showcases the Park District, and I'd like to share that message again tonight with our viewing audience.
Too much and for too long, we seem to have surrendered personal excellence and community values in the mere accumulation of material things. Our gross national product now is over $800 billion a year. But that gross national product, if we judge the United States of America by that gross national product counts air pollution and cigarette advertising, and ambulance to clear our highways of carnage. It counts special blocks for our doors and the jails for the people who break them. It counts the destruction of the redwood and the loss of our natural wonders and chaotic sprawl. It counts napalm, and it counts nuclear warheads and armored cars for the police to fight the riots in our cities. It counts Whitman rifles and sex knives and the television programs which glorify violence in order to sell toys to our children. That the gross national product does not allow for the health of our children, the quality of their education, or the joy of their play, It does not include the beauty of our poetry or the strength of our marriages, the intelligence of our public debate, or the integrity of our public officials. It measures neither our wit nor our courage, neither our wisdom nor our learning, neither our compassion nor our devotion to our country. It measures everything in short, except that which makes life worthwhile. And it can tell us everything about America, except why we are proud that we are Americans.
It's been 45 years since Robert Kennedy gave this speech warning us of how poorly we measure the success of our nation. At the Wheeling Park District, we believe his words are as important today as they were then. The success of our nation and our community can't be measured only on a balance sheet, just as our personal success shouldn't be measured by the cars we drive, the size of our home, or the vacations we take. While there continues to be value in the measurement of the gross national product, there's also value in a new way to measure success, and it includes gross national happiness. So why talk about happiness? Well, it's right there in the mission statement of the United States, the Declaration of Independence. The inalienable rights of Americans are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. History tells us that Thomas Jefferson, on the advice of Benjamin Franklin, substituted the phrase pursuit of happiness for the word property. But what exactly did happiness mean to the founders? They believed that you attained happiness not merely through the good you accumulated, but through the good that you did. As a society, we seem to be missing what Robert Kennedy said in 1968 and what the Founding Fathers declared in 1776. We still tend to measure our success by the number of things we have, and in many cases, this comes at the cost of our own personal happiness. So ask yourself, do you measure the right things? Is the square footage of your house more important than time spent with family and friends in your home? Are you more concerned with your car or clothing brand name rather than your neighbor's name? Do you count the number of your friends or the quality of those friendships? Are you valuing items of worth or the things that make life worthwhile? So think about your answers. Are you striving for a certain standard of living or a certain quality of life? Health, well-being, community, cultural diversity, environment, education, good governance, time use, along with our standard of living, are the dimensions in which gross national happiness is measured. So what is gross national happiness? Gross national happiness is based on the concept that every human being aspires for happiness, and a country's development should also be measured in its citizens' happiness. In 1972, the country of Bhutan began to put this concept into practice and has attracted the attention of the rest of the world with its new formula to measure the progress of a community, state, or even a nation. With gross national happiness, the calculation of success considers other aspects than just economic development. It also includes the preservation of the environment and quality of our lives. This movement has sparked interest in measuring and promoting happiness, and it's energizing people around the world. The study of happiness has exploded in universities, and in fact, the science of happiness is the most popular class at Harvard, from which hundreds of students are turned away every year due to demand. Gross national happiness brings us back to the original founding ideals of our country. It forces us to ask, are we improving as a community in protecting and exercising our right to pursue happiness? What can we, what should we do differently? The Park District has a great responsibility to provide opportunities for residents to pursue happiness. Our mission is to provide memorable experiences in parks and recreation that enrich our communities. Gross national happiness uses 9 indicators that fit well within the mission of the Wheeling Park District. So in 2012, how did the Park District contribute to our community's pursuit of happiness? Let us show you.
Some nights I stay up, cashing in my ballad. Some nights I call it a draw. Some nights I wish that my legs could build a castle. Some nights I wish they just fall off. But I still wake up, I still see your gospel. Lord, I'm still not sure what I stand for. Oh, what do I stand for? What do I stand for? Most nights I don't know. Man, you wouldn't believe the most amazing things that can come from some terrible life.
As you can see from those fantastic photos, a lot has happened for us over the past year. Additionally, I'd like to mention some of the highlights and areas that we at the Park District are particularly proud of. In 2012, the Park District offered over 1,400 courses that were attended by almost 10,000 people. We had approximately 75,000 visits to the fitness center and over 17,000 participants in our group exercise classes. This summer, well over 77,000 guests passed through the gates at the Family Aquatic Center, and at Chevy Chase, just short of 35,000 rounds of golf were played, while over 41,000 attended events at the club. But it's not just about the numbers of guests through our doors at the facilities or the number of participants in our programs. It's about the work we're doing to execute our strategic plan and serve the community in parks and recreation while being responsible stewards of the public's tax dollars and property. In 2012, we moved into the new state-of-the-art Parks and Facilities Services building, completed the renovations at Northside Park, constructed the new grand ballroom patio at Chevy Chase, and after many years of preparation, work began on the Heritage Park redevelopment project. Also this year, we paid off the debt that helped fund the 2002 renovation of Traditions at Chevy Chase Golf Course. The number of guests served by our parks, facilities, and programs reflect the value our community members place in the services offered by the Park District, and I like to think this reflects the contribution Parks and Recreation offers to the happiness of our community. So why are we talking about happiness? Well, we know in general that happy people are more charitable, have better relationships, are better caregivers, are better citizens. Happy people not only work harder, but they volunteer more too, which helps increase the prosperity and strength of our community. The Wheeling Park District is proud to provide opportunities for residents to pursue happiness, and we're aware that the road to happiness is vastly different for different people. For some, happiness may come from a round of golf at Chevy Chase. For others, a game of pickleball at the Community Recreation Center. Some might find happiness splashing in one of our pools, and for others, it's just simply a walk in the park. No matter your preferred path, as we have since 1961, the Park District will continue to offer a community a variety of avenues to pursue happiness. To continue this endeavor, on April 13th, the Park District will join hundreds of other organizations around the world and celebrate the Pursuit of Happiness Day. Our event will take place all day at the Rec Center, and we invite you to bring your friends and family and join us for swimming, sports, fitness, and a variety of other activities. This event will be free to the public and will be the district's premier event as we take our message to happiness to the residents of Wheeling. More details will follow. The opportunities for happiness aren't limited to just this event. Guided by our recently passed 2012 through 2017 strategic plan, this year we plan to continue to invest in our community by making improvements to our facilities and parks. We'll also expand upon our current program offerings, giving our residents an even more diverse range of opportunities to choose from. We're continuing our neighborhood park improvement plan by revitalizing Pleasant Run and the completion of Husky Park. While we have the facilities, the programs, and the staff dedicated to helping you have fun, stay fit, and become happy, we can't do this alone. We continue to seek out partnerships with the Village of Wheeling, our library, schools, and community groups. The broad-ranging benefits of our partnerships serve as a model of what can be achieved when we work together for the betterment of our citizens and the community. The Park District has a number of opportunities ahead, is on course to continue to grow and develop in exciting ways that enhance the quality of life for the residents of Wheeling. In the spirit of collaboration, we invite all our community members to pursue happiness, and there's no better way to pursue and celebrate your happiness than joining us on April 13th. We look forward to seeing you there. On behalf of the Park Board and our staff, I want to express our appreciation for this opportunity. Thank you very much.
And thank you. And the Park Board. If the Park Board would stand, I see some of them are here tonight. The President's here, and no one wants to stand from the park. You're all bashful tonight? Thank you. Wheeling Township School District 214, the principal of the ever wonderful Wheeling High School, Dr. Lopez.
I can certainly tell you the staff and students at Wheeling High School and myself are very happy. Good evening, members of the board and President Abbruscato. I certainly want to thank you for this opportunity again to speak and give you sort of an update on what's happening at Wheeling High School. I'm certainly proud to report that Wheeling High School is not only happy, but has had another incredible year. We continue to make our mark in the world of STEM education, statewide and nationally, as a model school. And now just consider, just in the last few weeks, Wheeling High School has earned first place, the Governor's Award, in the 2013 Real World Design Challenge for our students' design of an unmanned aircraft system. Now these students are going to go on to Washington, D.C. to compete in the national competition in April. Another team of 6 girls were selected as the Best in State winner of the 2013 Verizon Innovative App Challenge for their, quote, creativity, innovative design, and application of STEM principles to the development of the process, according to the Verizon judges. And in an extensive 3-page feature of our engineering and manufacturing program titled Transform American Education and Transform the American Economy was published in this month's edition of the Manufacturing News, right here, which goes across 13 states and a circulation of about over 100,000 members. Manufacturers from across the country are reading about what we're doing here at Wheeling High School in Wheeling, Illinois. And finally, on a local level, our school has once again won the district math meet in 2014. And one teacher, after winning the math meet, commented that it wasn't fair that Wheeling High School won because we're a STEM school and we shouldn't be competing with them at the same level. And I share this story, and I laughed when I heard it, because I often hear families wanting the best for their child, asking the question about which high school in the area is the most successful academically. And they choose which side of the street to live on or which neighborhood to consider based on a single measure of an ACT composite score. And the truth is, we are fortunate enough to have a district with literally some of the most successful schools in the country, regardless of which of our high schools you attend. And while each is a true academic powerhouse in its own right, each of our schools serves a uniquely different community of learners and families. Wheeling High School is blessed to have the most diverse and academically at-risk student population of almost any school in our area. We are proud to have also one of the most diverse staff, and I believe this diversity serves to better prepare our students for success in college and the workplace. And it embodies our community's sons and daughters with the opportunities to develop the skills to work in a team of peers from around the world, representing a multitude of cultural differences that can't be learned in a textbook. And that being said, a significant number of our students are struggling to learn English. They receive special education services because of learning disabilities, and over 40% of our families are families in poverty. And that means that a family of four is earning less than about $29,000 per year. That's over 40%. Now, most educational research suggests the student's socioeconomic status, along with the mother's level of education, is the most powerful predictor of a student's expected levels of academic achievement. And in spite of this fact, our students are growing at levels beyond expectation. While over half enter our school in supplemental reading and math programs, almost half have successfully completed an advanced placement college credit-bearing course by the time they graduate high school. Our graduation rates among our at-risk students remain above 90%, as does the college transition rate. And through our state-of-the-art facilities and curricular programming, we provide our students with a doorway into their future by developing their full potential and exposing them to a world they would likely have never seen. So let me say here and now that while our ACT composite score doesn't necessarily look like our neighboring schools, the growth of our students and the quality of their experience is equal to or exceeds any school in our area, state, region, or nation for that matter. But don't just take my word for it. There is a reason why we have visitors monthly from across the state, region, and nation to come to our school to learn about the best practices in education. There is a reason why the first time a sitting governor chose to visit the district, he came to Wheeling High School. There is a reason why the Governor's State Commission on High School Achievement asked us to make recommendations to its council to increase academic achievement and high school graduation rates in our state. There is a reason why political leaders such as Representative Schakowsky, former Representative Dold, Senator Kirk, and Senator Durbin have met with or visited our school and even mentioned the name of Wheeling High School on the floor of House of Representatives, sharing our stories of success with their constituents across the state. There is a reason why university researchers funded by the National Science Foundation, industry publications, and book authors have traveled to the school to study and record what we do to share it with the world. There is a reason why we are nationally ranked by U.S. News and World Report, the Washington Post, and Newsweek as one of America's best high schools. There is a reason why elite schools such as Northwestern University and the University of Illinois develop programs and outreach with us in mind to support other schools from across the state. There is a reason why national organizations and businesses like Northrop Grumman, Intel, HP, just to name a few, as well as industry trade groups such as the Society of Manufacturing Engineers and countless area manufacturers want to partner with us and invite us to sit on their boards of education. There is a reason why. And it is simply because we are doing what to most that know seems not only unlikely, but certainly quite challenging. We have taken a large public high school with close to 2,000 students, a majority minority population of high poverty, and significant numbers of at-risk special education and English language learners, and made it a national model for academic achievement associated with the most highly selective math and science schools in the country. And by the way, our community should know that we accomplished this while cutting hundreds of thousands of dollars from our school's budget, including eliminating up to 10 full-time teachers, countless support staff, while growing opportunities and programming for students not only in our school, but to hundreds as young as first grade throughout these suburban communities. And this happened because of this community's teachers, support staff, parents, and students, and our partners in our community that are sitting in this room, who took up the challenge and made us proud every step of the way. This is your Wheeling High School. And when we imagined our school as a comprehensive high school with a STEM focus, we wanted our school to be relevant to our students in a way that prepared them for life beyond high school, to engage students in their future from the moment they entered our doors. And now, where there's already been much accomplished, I have to tell you there's even more underway. I'm excited that after 3 years of planning, this fall, Wheeling High School will have one of the first and most advanced research and development nano labs of any high school in the country. Some of the resources you'll find in the lab will include a state-of-the-art microscopy equipment to facilitate research at the nanoscale with an atomic force microscope, a scanning electron microscope, and a 3D optical imaging microscope found at the highly technical manufacturing centers conducting nano-level quality control. This lab will serve as an inspiration for our students, a skills development center for our community's future scientists, transferable job skills upon graduation, and a resource to our countless business partners and research institutions. And I want to end my comments by highlighting a couple of important dates, and certainly a personal request. This Tuesday, March 5th, we have two important events. We host our annual Parent Observation Day. Parents are able to spend all day or part of their day shadowing a student in their classes. You'll get firsthand experience of the world of your student and their opportunities to tour the school and meet with administrators. You have to contact the main office to register, but hopefully all our parents will take advantage of that. And secondly, I'm asking members of the community to attend the State of the District event at Wheeling High School that same evening. Tuesday, March 5th. It's from about 7 to 8 o'clock at night. That's a week from tomorrow. One of our school members will provide an overview of the state of the district, and I'll share some brief comments about the school. There's going to be refreshments and opportunities to ask questions. Each school is hosting a similar event throughout the district, and I'm certainly hoping to send a message that our community supports our school. So I encourage the members of the Wheeling High School community to attend. So it's hard to believe that it's only been 3 years since I came to the board and announced Wheeling High School's STEM focus, and that it will make it a destination school for families seeking a competitive advantage for their children's future. And while I certainly know in 6 years as principal there's been much we've done, we certainly are just getting started. This community's namesake high school is one we can certainly proudly call our own without hesitation and without qualification. And as I've said before, it is in the creation of our own destiny as a school that we can empower our students to create theirs. So I want to thank you for your support and thank you for your time this evening.
And if the members of the board of District 214 are with us this evening, if you would stand, because I know you help to develop the school and help the school with all their needs. No one here from 214, the board? 21 is here, though, I know. So now, the district superintendent, Kate Hadelin. Welcome.
Well, good evening. I want to thank the village for inviting me to present on the successes and challenges in District 21. Before I begin, I would like to acknowledge our board members who are in the audience. Kathy Edmonds is our president. Bill Harrison. Stacy Allen. John, do I click on this side? Is that on the right side? Mm-hmm. On the left side? Well, one of them.
One of them.
Thank you.
It'll hit it.
It's our mission in District 21 to prepare all students for success. Our students will one day be your neighbors, and we want to prepare them to be responsible and productive citizens. So to meet that end, our focus in the classroom is to focus on content knowledge, reading, math, writing, science, for example, life, career, and technical skills, and learning skills like cooperative collaboration, creativity, and critical thinking. However, as focused as we try to be in the classroom, we do live in a world of mandates. In 2001, No Child Left Behind was enacted to ensure that schools across the nation held high standards for students. On the positive side, schools began looking at students in subgroups to make sure that there was progress and growth within those subgroups. But No Child Left Behind has been very punitive by eventually and inevitably declaring all public schools as failing. When New Trier, Stevenson High School, and Wheeling High School, all of which have been recognized nationally for the performance of their students, have been declared as failing by the state of Illinois, there's a problem with the law. Race to the Top has been described as No Child Left Behind on steroids. However, rather than labeling, we will now be given a grade based on the one assessment. Federal dollars coming into District 21 are less than 4% of our total budget. Yet we continue to be tied to federal legislation and unfunded mandates, most typically related to special education and assessment. It would be challenging to pick up the newspaper today and not read about the financial situation of the state of Illinois. They've had a history of delaying their payments to the school districts, trying to pass off their obligations like pensions to local districts, and reducing extended learning opportunities like summer bridges to students. In addition to dealing with these challenges, school districts have very little opportunity for increasing revenue and must continue to work within the parameters of the property tax extension limitation. Over the last several years, Illinois has had to respond to the expectations set forth in Race to the Top. As I mentioned before, we will continue to be rated based on the one test score. But it's important to note that these assessments are given in a language that's inappropriate for many of our students. So if I were to go to France and take their test in France, I assure you I would not do very well. The same is true of our students. It is no indication of what it is that they know and are able to do. In addition, currently our middle school students are required to complete a 5 essays essentials survey related to the culture of their school. And finally, the state is requiring a new evaluation system for principals and teachers based on standards and student growth. In addition, the state has adopted new Common Core standards which promise to be more rigorous, relevant to the real world, and more reflective of the knowledge and skills that students are going to need to be successful in college and careers. PARCC assessment is going to be replacing ISAT in 2 years. But meanwhile, in the February 12th Tribune article that's on here, shared that there are new cutoff scores that are going to be implemented using ISAT this year, so that more students will not be meeting standards. Their prediction is that if 85% of the students met or exceeded standards on the current ISAT, this year, students, only 60% are going to be meeting standards. Now, I think it's important that you understand that the students are still performing at a high level. It's much like a trained miler who is running and now has to run 6 laps around the track rather than 4. Doesn't understand why that is, but just knows that that's what's going to happen. It's the mile marker that's changed, not the performance of the students or the performance of the miler. Similarly, the performance of the students hasn't changed. It's that arbitrary finish line that's changed. So regardless of all the mandates that we're living with, what is happening in our schools? As I introduced last year, we continue to be focused on our professional learning community. We have 4 initiatives that really guide our practice. The first one is instructional practices. We do this to ensure that all students reach their full potential. Well, you might ask, how is this different than it was 25 years ago? Well, 25 years ago, most of our students were tracked and oftentimes segregated. Our initiative is to ensure that all students are included and that they all have access to core instruction. The second one is authentic learning opportunities, so that students become owners of their own learning. Again, you might ask, how is that different than it was 25 years ago? Well, 25 years ago, there was one teacher providing feedback to students on student work. Today, we've got all kinds of people that can offer feedback to students. They can post a paper, for example, and then they can get feedback from their parents. John, can you push me back?
I don't have control, sorry.
Okay, how do I go back? I'm so sorry.
Luca may have control.
You have control?
In the, there we go.
Okay, go back. Go back. And I'll keep my hands off this. Go back, go back one more. Go back.
It's like me. Boom, boom, boom.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you, Luca.
Okay, I'm going to keep my hands off that. So you might ask, how are students, what's different in authentic learning? As I was explaining, kids 25 years ago got feedback from one person, that was the teacher. Today they can get feedback from their parents, from a variety of teachers, from kids across the world. If they're posting a piece of written work that they have done, they can get that feedback from a variety of different places, and they become owners of what it is that they do with that feedback. The last one is the professional collective commitments, and that's what we do to ensure that our classrooms are positive and productive places for students. Well, again, you might ask, how is that different than it was 25 years ago? Well, 25 years ago, a teacher might have said, well, I taught that. The students just didn't learn it. Well, today, the focus is not on what the teacher has taught, but rather on what the students have learned. The teachers are really involved in very collaborative relationships among their team so that they are held responsible for all of the kids in that grade level. So we are really committed to these initiatives, and we remain focused, committed, and we consistently monitor those. Well, we're able to accomplish some of the goals that we have because of the quality and commitment of our staff. We're fortunate that our staff is committed to their own continual improvement, student learning, and partnering with parents. As evidenced by this slide, we have many staff members who are leaders in their school while positively impacting students at the region and state levels. Students in District 21 are hardworking and focused on learning, and the next two slides are going to provide a snapshot of student performance. As a community, we value our diversity. As a district, we are proud to offer a bilingual Spanish, Polish, and Russian program for our students, and acknowledge that over 65 different languages are spoken in our school. Yet when we put these students together, by the time that they are in 8th grade, these students are highly successful. You can see that they are performing at, these students are highly successful with over 80% meeting or exceeding standards in reading, and over 90% of the students exceeding or meeting standards in math. When we look over the last 5 years, we can see that 80% of our students, all students in grades 3 through 8, consistently meet or exceed standards in math. This is the kind of performance that's comparable to some of the finest school districts in the state. We're very proud of that. In closing, I just want to say that I'm honored to be at the helm of District 21, to be serving in the Wheeling community. I want to thank the village for the opportunity to share the challenges and successes in 21. Thank you.
Indian Trails Library, our Communication Services Department, Susan Dennison. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having us here tonight. John, we've got a slideshow.
Luca's probably pulling
there it is.
There we
Great.
go.
Thank you so much. Last month, the Pew Research Center published a report on library services in the digital age. In this report, 91% of Americans over the age of 16 said public libraries were important to their communities. 73% had visited the library to borrow a print book. 53% said libraries should offer a broader selection of e-books, and nearly 60% of the respondents wanted more comfortable spaces for reading, writing, and relaxing. As libraries continue to evolve to meet the needs of their communities, one thing is certain: to not only survive but thrive, libraries must embrace the change our residents want in information, education, and interaction. Nowhere is this more evident than at the Indian Trails Library. In May of 2011, the decision was made to relocate the Prospect Heights branch to a new space at 99 East Palatine Road when the former location proved inadequate to the library's needs. The new branch opened in early August and doubled our space inside, allowing us to offer more materials, computers, study areas, and a separate children's area. On September 29th, we held the grand opening of the branch, which was attended by nearly 200 people. And in February of this year, we began offering programs at the branch and are now considering expanding the hours to meet the growing demand. Not too long ago, the only thing you could borrow from the library was books. Today, you can borrow CDs, DVDs, Blu-ray discs, video games, newspapers, magazines, and e-readers. This year, we loaned 1.4 million items. The one constant we know is that the pace of technology is speeding up, and many of the formats we are all familiar with will disappear in the coming years. CDs, like cassettes and 8-tracks before them, are on the decline, and not far behind them, DVDs. The number of print newspapers we have on hand, once the main source of information and news, declined 50% as newspapers went digital. While the number of books we owned stayed level, there was an explosion in e-books available at the library, 753%. Although we don't believe that traditional print books will ever completely disappear, we now offer 3 different ways that members can download e-books. As publishers make more e-book titles available, this area of the collection will continue to grow. Although some of the traditional formats are disappearing, access to information is not. The library's role in this continues to evolve as we work to strike a balance between print and electronic resources. Last year, our budget for electronic resources saw a 30% increase. Through our electronic resources and databases, which saw a 90% increase last year, members can download music, learn a language, check out an e-book, research their ancestry, and read a magazine or newspaper online simply with their library card. Since their birth, the mission of libraries has been to provide everyone equal access to information. This principle still guides us as we move more fully into the digital age. This year, we saw a 38% increase in the number of reference questions staff were asked. Questions ranged from where do I vote, what kind of dogs don't shed, how do I get ink out of my clothes, how do I write a resume, and what are the best reading activities for my child? There is simply no typical reference question, and for a librarian, the harder the question, the better. Our programs have always been some of our more popular services we offer, and this year was no exception. The number of programs we hosted increased 25%, with the greatest growth happening in youth services that offered 38% more programs for children and families. One area we began expanding was to bring authors into the library for readings and book signings. In June, we hosted best-selling sci-fi author John Scalzi, and in August, former Wheeling resident Michael Anthony. In keeping with our commitment to service, the library launched its redesigned website in early September after months of planning by staff. The goal was to make this site more accessible, easier to navigate, and reinforce our branding to strengthen our identity and our message. It's hard to imagine that less than 10 years ago, Facebook and Twitter did not exist. Today, the phrases "friend me" and "tweet" have made their way into our vocabulary. We ramped up our digital media by devoting more staff resources to posting and tweeting. And in spring, we will launch our mobile app, and not far behind that, our mobile website. And this is my shameless PR plug. You can find us on Facebook at Indian Trails Library, and we do hope that you will like us. In June 2011, staff and board embarked on a strategic planning process. We hosted 6 focus groups for the community and spent 5 months going over the information and crafting the framework for the plan. But the work didn't end there. Once the Board of Trustees approved the plan, staff went to work on creating the objectives and actions that will enable us to successfully achieve our goals. This plan will serve as a beacon in determining what and where we provide services, what kind of materials we purchase, and what types of programs we host. We will focus on enhancing our partnerships with the leaders of the communities we serve to maximize our resources. Above all else, we are committed to making the Indian Trails Library District a library that exceeds the expectations of our members by adhering to our values, providing exceptional customer service, and encouraging innovation and becoming a leader in the community. On behalf of the Indian Trails Library District Board of Trustees, a few of whom are here tonight, Wally Segalnik, Louise Barnett, Don Ropham, Doris Wagner, Mary Crystal, Henry Hackney, and Jean Loof, and Library Director David Seleb, thank you for the opportunity to participate.
Thank you. And since you're sitting so comfortable, if you from the library board would stand, we'd like you to do that. Thank you. It has been a privilege tonight to be able to hear from our township, our park district, our District 214, District 21, and our Indian Trails Library. It is wonderful that the television, and I hope there's a lot of people out there this evening that have taken advantage of getting all of this information, which a lot of people do not know or see. On behalf of myself and the board, we thank you all for coming tonight. We also thank you for your dedication in helping to make our village the best village in this area and to help and see us grow. So again, I thank you this evening for all coming. And if I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
Motion made by Trustee Heer, second by Trustee Agiris. Roll call, please.
Trustee Agiris?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Heer?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
President Abiscato?
Yes, we are now adjourned, and we'd love you all to stay for our next meeting. But if not, we'll give you a minute to go.
No, there's 2 more meetings.
There's 2 more meetings.
Yeah, it's coming.
I didn't understand.
We will now have the special meeting of the Liquor Control Commission called to order. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Agiris?
Here.
Commissioner Hein?
Yes.
Commissioner Brady?
Here.
Commissioner Vogel?
Here.
Commissioner Heer?
Here.
Commissioner Lang?
Here.
Chairperson Abiscato?
Here. Approval of the minutes of the special meeting on January 7th.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Trustee Agiris, second by Trustee Vogel. Roll call, please.
Trustee Agiris?
Commissioner.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Agiris?
Here. Yes.
Commissioner Hein?
Abstain.
Commissioner Brady?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Heer?
Yes.
Commissioner Lang?
Yes.
Chairperson Abiscato?
Yes. New business?
Madam President, Commissioners, the petitioner has asked that item A be tabled. In order to do so, we would need a motion from the Commission.
So moved. Second.
Motion made by Trustee Agiris, second by Trustee Vogel. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Agiris?
Yes.
Commissioner Hein?
Yes.
Commissioner Brady?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Heer?
Yes.
Commissioner Lang?
Yes.
Chairperson Abiscato?
Yes. In consideration of a Class B1 liquor license, Stella's Wheeling at the Lynn Plaza LLC.
Mr. Leff, if you come up.
Good evening, Madam President and the Board of Trustees. We met with you now, 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks ago, and we did go in front of the Planning Commission, and we are here to request a liquor license for our cafe at Lynn Plaza. Do you want me to go back into detail on that, or to review the
I think
use
it'd be good
again?
to have some detail. There are some people out there that have not heard before, and this way it'll be a refreshment.
Right, okay, so do we have our couple slides?
Should have. There we go.
This is the existing conditions of the vacant storefront at Lynn Plaza. You have the thumb drive? There we go. And this is Stella's. It's a neighborhood cafe and gathering place for adults to enjoy a light meal and beer and wine. And also, we will offer video gaming for those people that enjoy that as a form of entertainment. We will be, in this location, we are 29 seats, but if you include the movable seats in the back gaming area, there are another 5 seats, so that brings us to a total of 34 seats. As you can see when you walk in, we have the cafe environment up front. We will be serving light bites, an assortment of appetizers, flatbread pizzas, sliders, chicken sliders, hamburger sliders. We will be serving breakfast, things like fresh egg sandwiches, muffins, cinnamon buns, coffee, and again, it's a 21 over establishment, and the request is for a beer and wine liquor license.
Thank you. Do we have any questions, Mr. Fondilas, you have?
I just wanted to recommend that there are 2 conditions and remind the Commission there are 2 conditions that we suggest. One is the passage of an ordinance granting a special use and associated site plan approval for the establishment. Such an ordinance is on the agenda of the Board of Trustees special meeting immediately following this meeting. And 2, passage of an ordinance by the Board of Trustees authorizing the creation of a new Class B1 liquor license, which will be coming to the Board on March 4th. I would also like to ask Mr. Janik if you would talk just briefly about the required number of seats in the establishment.
Yes. Good evening, Madam President, Board of Trustees. This liquor license requires a minimum of 30 seats for the liquor license. The breakdown on the seating is there are 27 chairs with backs on the plan. There are 2 locations for disabled wheelchairs, disabled table. That would be 2 more. That's 29. And then the 5 chairs that petitioner referred to, which are basically ottomans, are movable chairs. There are no backs to them, but they can be used to move around the floor, typically to have somebody sit next to someone who's playing one of the games. So that would be a total of 34 seats if you count each one of those ottomans or poofs as 1 chair.
Because code language does not distinguish between a table and a seat, correct?
That's correct.
Thank you. Commissioner here, you have a question?
Yeah, I know we're here for the liquor license, but can I ask him a question outside of that preview, and that's about why he chose these locations? Because when he was up in front of the board the last time, we kind of made some suggestions, maybe put it around the hotel, and now one wants to show up on Dundee Road, wants to show up over at Lynn Plaza, and then I understand one's going to be over by Lexington. So
We do not have one over by Lexington. I thought when we were here last, the village or the board said anything other. There were some issues with parking on the Fresh Farms location, and those issues are being addressed.
Is that the reason you pulled that tonight?
That is the primary reason is parking and other issues that we are working on with the landlord. And we want to go back in front of the Planning Commission to talk with them again on the solutions and how those have been working out.
So you think another location would be better for that one because it's pretty close to residential? Now that you brought it up.
Per our discussion with the board last time and with the Planning Commission, we feel it's a good location. We do not think we'll require a lot of parking. We think it'll be quiet, safe.
Well, I know, we all saw the planning commission, you don't have to rehash that, but okay, that's, enough on that then.
Commissioner-
Okay, that's all the questions I have.
All right, because
Thanks.
Commissioner, here, we're just
That's right.
voting on the liquor.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
can do the other questions when we go into our next meeting. Commissioner Brady, you have a question?
Yeah, if in fact Mr. Janik says that to meet the requirements of this B district, whatever it is going to be, that you have to have so many seats, 30 seats, how can you count the gaming seats as a place to sit down and eat lunch?
I think we can interpret the code in that way. The code doesn't define exactly what a seat means. You also have openings at end tables to add seating as well, if you wanted to move seats out that way.
Yeah, and just
So
to point out, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, also to point out at the, where the gaming stations are, we do have swing arm tables for people to eat and drink at those tables. So we think people will take advantage of that.
And the staff doesn't see any problem with the 3'8" aisleway going in front of the serving area where people are going to be serving food and walking to and from the gaming area, and people are trying to eat lunch along those tables. This seems a little cramped. I don't know.
We're comfortable with it, and it meets code.
Okay, that's all I have.
Thank you. And those questions can be further answered when we go into the next meeting. Right now, we're voting on a consideration of a Class B1 liquor license.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Trustee Commissioner
Madam
Agiris
President, with the two conditions?
With the two.
with the two conditions,
Second.
and second by Commissioner Lang. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Juris?
Yes.
Commissioner Hein?
Yes.
Commissioner Brady?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Here?
No.
Commissioner Lang?
Yes.
Chairperson Abrascato?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, in the hearing of the matter of Wheeling Eduardo's, Inc., doing business as Eduardo's Natural Pizza. Mr. Fondilas?
This is just a forfeiture of the license, a technicality due to the fact that the restaurant has been closed for 60 days.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Agiris, second by Commissioner Vogel. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Juris?
Yes.
Commissioner Hein?
Yes.
Commissioner Brady?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Here?
Yes.
Commissioner Lang?
Yes.
Chairperson Abrascato?
Yes. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Lang, second by Commissioner Vogel. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Juris?
Yes.
Commissioner Hein?
Yes.
Commissioner Brady?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Here?
Yes.
Commissioner Lang?
Yes.
Chairperson Abrascato?
Yes. The Wheeling regular meeting is called to order. Roll call, please.
Trustee Juris?
Here.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Here.
Trustee Vogel?
Here.
Trustee Here?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Here.
President Abrascato?
Yes. Here. Approval of minutes of the regular meeting of January 21st.
So moved.
Motion made by Trustee Brady,
Second.
second by Trustee Lang. Roll call, please.
Trustee Juris?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Abstain.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Here?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
President Abrascato?
Yes. Need a motion for workshop meeting of January 28th, approval of
So
minutes. Motion made by Trustee Agiris,
Second.
second by Trustee Lang. Roll call, please.
Trustee Juris?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Abstain.
Trustee Here?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
President Abrascato?
Yes. Mr. Fondilas, any changes to the agenda?
No, Madam President.
Thank you. Proclamations and appointments. We have an appointment. I would need a motion to appoint Steve Powers to the Plan Commission.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Trustee Agiris, second by Trustee Vogel. Roll call, please.
Trustee Juris?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Here?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
President Abrascato?
Yes. And if you would administer the oath to Mr. Steve Powers, who now will be our new Plan Commissioner, and welcome to the family.
First, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Steve Powers,
I, Steve Powers,
having been appointed to the Planning Commission
having been appointed to Planning Commission
in the Village of Wheeling,
in the Village of Wheeling,
in the counties of Cook and Lake,
in the counties of Cook and Lake,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will follow the Constitution of the United States,
that I will follow the Constitution of the United States
Poor guy, had to wait a long time.
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of office of Planning Commissioner
of office of Planning Commissioner
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
We always welcome anyone that has a desire to give back to their community. Don't forget, you can always pick up an application or call up for an application if you have an interest on a commission. If it is not available at the time, we're always happy to have that on file in the event that it would become available. And now we have citizens' concerns and comments.
Ms. Galena? Can't say your last name.
Good evening, everybody. Here is my application for the permit for the driveway extension. And I ask very hard to take it and review and give me in writing quotes, which one says I can build extension driveway. Because Mark Janek, he promised me February 1st to send by mail, but he didn't do it. You can deny, but I want it in writing why I can build driveway, additional driveway in the Malibu Cove subdivision. And second question is a full extension, which driveway, which one doesn't have a permit. That's what it says in the attorney letter. And only mine was removed. I want it in writing why mine was only one who removed. In writing, why?
Do you have copies of what you're referring to?
Yes, I have
I've
it.
not seen them. I'll be happy to draft a response.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Fondoulis, you'll take care of.
I will look
and
into
read
it,
that and
absolutely.
see what that is. Thank you.
Mr. Liebman?
It's my understanding that vaccines is going to be tabled tonight.
Yes.
Yes.
I have no comment.
Thank you.
Ms. Dagapo?
You need the address and all that? 216 Cent, okay. First of all, I want to thank the board for giving us our neighborhood street back by restricting parking to 2 hours. I had a friend come up from Marengo who is actually a shirt-tail relative of Trustee Hine, and she walked in my house and said, "I can't believe it. I can see your street again. Do you know how wonderful this is?" So thank you very much. I actually wanted to talk about Maxine, but I see that it's tabled, and I'm not sure I understand why it was tabled. They said they were working on the parking issues. I think there's more than parking issues. With my trifocals, desperately tried to read everything that was on the website, and had a very difficult time reading that very small, fine, fuzzy print. But I see that they are still asking for hours of 7 a.m. to 2 a.m. And this is a residential area, whether anybody says differently. It is, that particular location is directly across the street from a lady who sits in the back row. And you can look through the window of that particular unit, and you can look right into her living room window. And there are other places in this community where this particular establishment could go. Now, what was shown up here for Stella's looked a lot different than what was shown to the Plan Commission for Maxine's. I don't know why it's going back to the Plan Commission. We're going to have to watch for that and come back. We'll have to come back to the village board, which we will do. But I would urge the board to seriously look at this particular request. It's in a residential neighborhood. That is, you can call that a neighborhood shopping center. You know, the other shopping centers in town don't have houses that close to them. There is a school that's 2 blocks away. This is not the proper location for Maxine's. Now, I don't know whether they have a lease or not. It certainly sounded like it when they were here appearing before with one of the members of the family that owns the shopping center. And if that's the case, gee, isn't that too bad? Maybe they should have done some due diligence and waited to go through the process before they had a lease, if in fact they do. But I urge you all to look very carefully at this location. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Papantos?
I too am here to speak to the special use request for Maxine's at the Fresh Farms Shopping Center. As you all know, this item was voted, the Plan Commission voted against the use for a special request at their last meeting by a 5-to-1 vote. The first item for a special use is the impact on a neighborhood. This is right in the middle of a neighborhood. As Ms. Dagopal mentioned, you can look directly into someone's living room from this building. You can look right out their back door to another home. We're not talking something 200 feet away. The entrance and exit are going to go right onto Willie Avenue, which is a neighborhood street. Hours from 7 a.m. to 2 a.m., 19 hours a day for an establishment to serve liquor in a neighborhood? I don't think so. If it was just a restaurant, I think people would say, yeah, a place to go, get a bite to eat if it closes at reasonable hours, but 2 a.m. is not reasonable. I asked the board to ask themselves, would any of you want this type of an establishment right outside your door or outside your parents' door? Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it.
That's it. Staff report, Mr. Stavros.
Thank you, Madam President, trustees. As most of you know, if you've had the radio on or your TV, we're in for another round of snow, so they say. Last week, we were talking 7, 8 inches, and we ended up with 2.5. They're again calling for, right now, as of an hour ago, 3 to 5 inches of heavy wet snow to fall tomorrow, primarily in the afternoon hours. During the early afternoon, the precipitation will be expected to be the most intense, with snowfall up to 1 inch an hour. I would like to remind the residents that after 2 inches of snow, cars need to be off the streets. Normally, when we have snowfall, it's at night, cars are already off the streets, they're in your driveway. This happens during the day. We're going to be out plowing streets, and those cars need to be removed. The storm will be accompanied by 40-mile-an-hour winds out of the east and northeast, which will create considerable blowing, some whiteout conditions with the reduced visibility, and this will definitely make a rather challenging afternoon commute home. So, just reminding the residents to be prepared.
Thank you. Our consent agenda?
All items listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the village board and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a board member or citizen so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered after all other agenda items.
Do we have a motion or any questions?
So moved.
Motion made by trustee Vogel, second by trustee Lang. Roll call, please.
Trustee Argyris?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Heer?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
President Abiscato.
Yes. New business?
Item A, ordinance granting special use and associated site plan approval for a sit-down restaurant at 255 East Dundee Road, docket number 2013-2.
Madam President, again, as this item was requested by the petitioner to be tabled, I would ask that we do the same for the special use.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Brady, second by trustee Vogel. Roll call, please.
Trustee Argyris?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Heer?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
President Abiscato.
Yes.
Item 13B, ordinance granting special use and associated site plan approval for a sit-down restaurant at 534A West Dundee Road, docket number 2013-3.
Before moving on, Madam President, we need a motion to refer item A back to the Plan Commission.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Adjira, second by trustee Vogel.
Back to Plan Commission?
Back to the
Yes.
Plan Commission. Where did that come from?
Okay. Trustee Argyris?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Heer?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
President Abiscato.
Yes. Would you read the ordinance again, please?
Okay. Item 13B, ordinance granting special use and associated site plan approval for a sit-down restaurant at 534A West Dundee Road, docket number 2013-3.
Mr. Janik.
Thank you. The petitioner is here tonight requesting special use approval for a restaurant in approximately 1,400 square foot space at Lynn Plaza. The hours of operation are 7 a.m. to 7 a.m. to 2 a.m. And their intention is to have light meals and serve beer and wine.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Adjira, second by trustee Vogel. We have a roll call, please.
Trustee Argyris?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Heer?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
President Abiscato.
Yes.
Item 13C, resolution waiving competitive bidding and authorizing the village manager to execute a contract for consulting services with AECOM Incorporated for civil engineering design documents required for a storm sewer improvement project in Heritage Park.
Mr. Janik.
Thank you. This contract involves the design and construction inspection of a storm sewer pipe that would extend approximately from the Wicks property at the very south end of the Wicks property, so-called Wicks property next door, to Heritage Lake. This pipe, which is approximately 96 inches in diameter, is intended for future flow of stormwater from development sites north of Dundee Road.
Have any questions, or do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by trustee trustee Hein, second by trustee Adjira. Roll call, please.
Trustee Argyris?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Heer?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
President Abiscato.
Yes.
Item 13D, resolution waiving competitive bidding and accepting a proposal from Dixon Engineering Incorporated for an engineering and inspection service agreement for the rehabilitation and recoding of elevated tank number 3.
Mr. Janik.
Thank you. Elevated tank number 3 is the water tower tank on Old McHenry Road, just north of Dundee. This contract is for the most part, for inspectional services before, during, and after the paint, the spraying and recoding of elevated tank number 3.
Have any questions, or do I have a motion? Question.
So moved.
Question by by trustee Brady.
How long ago was that tank done? It seemed that long ago. It was totally rehabbed.
Mr. Stavros will help me out on that.
That tank is on a 15-year cycle. It's coming up to it now.
Been almost 15 years ago since it was
Yeah.
repainted?
Yeah.
Seems like yesterday, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it sure does.
Time flies.
Yeah, when you're having a good
Motion
time. Out there painting. I'm watching it over there.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Motion made by trustee Brady, second by trustee Hine. Roll call, please.
Trustee Argyris?
Yes.
Trustee Hine?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Heer?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
President Evers-Scotto.
Yes.
Item 13E, resolution for maintenance of streets and highways by municipality under the Illinois Highway Code for Section 12-00079-00-FP.
Mr. Janik.
Thank you. As part of the 2013 MFT Road Improvement Program in the village, the state of Illinois requires this resolution, which we are requesting approval of, requires this resolution and the attached street descriptions that we are going to be improving this year to be approved by the board and sent to IDOT.
Madam President?
Yes, trustee Adjuris.
Thank you. Why don't you mention the streets that you're talking about?
Generally speaking, the streets that we are intending to improve include all of Shadow Bend, the Ring Road, as well as the side streets, and then streets in West Dunhurst, Dunhurst number 3. That includes South and East Merle Lane, North and West Green Drive, Audrey Court, East Drive, and Bernice Court.
Thank you. So moved.
Motion made by trustee Adjuris.
Second.
Second by trustee Heer. Roll call, please.
Trustee Argyris?
Yes.
Trustee Hine?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Heer?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
President Evers-Scotto.
Yes.
Item 13F, resolution authorizing the village president and village clerk to execute a license agreement for use of the village right-of-way for the installation and maintenance of an underground fiber optic telecommunication cable system.
So
Mr. Janik.
moved with a question.
Yes. Motion with the question by trustee
Yeah, is there any compensation for that?
Yes. The original contract was approved in October of 2012. There was compensation as part of the original contract to the village. I believe it's $2,000 for the license itself, and then there are permit fees for every time they come in for a permit.
Okay.
Second.
Thank you.
Second by trustee Adjuris. Roll call, please.
Trustee Argyris?
Yes.
Trustee Hine?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Heer?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
President Evers-Scotto.
Yes.
Item 13G, resolution authorizing the village president and village clerk to execute a real estate sales contract between the village and Mutual Aid Box Alarm System, Illinois, for the sale of village-owned property located at 175 and 233 West Hints Road, Wheeling, Illinois.
Mr. Ferrillo.
Thank you, Madam President. This resolution relates to the old Public Works Building at 175 and 233 Hinch Road. The resolution authorizes the village president to execute a real estate contract with the Mutual Aid Box Alarm System, otherwise known as MABUS. MABUS currently leases the property. The current lease with MABUS terminates on February 1st, 2016. The lease arrangement with MABUS was in the nature of a lease with an option to purchase. The purchase of this property, if this is approved, would close on February 1st, 2016, pursuant to the real estate contract attached.
We have any questions, or do I have a motion?
Just one question.
Question, trustee Lang.
Are there any plans with the 175 building? It sits empty right now, and do we know if they have any plans?
For MABUS's plans?
Yes.
We don't. I don't know exactly what they're going to use.
And can they sell that property? Can they sell?
No, they can't. Once it's purchased from us, they have to retain ownership for 10 years. Because we purchased that property with bonds, there will be a deed restriction that says they have to maintain ownership for 10 years. They can potentially sublease to something that fits within the zone, but they cannot sell it for a 10-year period.
Thank you.
Do you have any other questions, or do I have a motion?
I do real quick if I.
Yes, trustee Adjuris.
Mr. Ferrillo, maybe you can explain to date with the lease agreement, the village has recaptured about, what, $4 million plus a buyout of another $400,000 for the purchase of that property. Well, I'll do it for you, I'll explain.
Sure.
So,
I think
I'm
you've
sorry.
done that very well.
I'm sorry. But here's a good thing, what you talk about intergovernment and working together. The village really got back what they had put into that public works building with the agreement that we made with Mavis. So we didn't take a loss. We put another user in there, and we recaptured the dollars that we initially put in there and housed our public works facility for a few years for us, and able to go east of that site and put a facility that we really needed at that time. So I just wanted to make that known for everybody. This was a godsend, I should say, for recapturing monies that we would have maybe gotten stuck with or had to get rid of the property for a big loss, and we didn't. So this was good on staff's part. Good job. I'll make a motion.
Motion made by trustee Agiris.
Second.
Second by trustee Vogel. Roll call, please.
Trustee Agiris?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Heer?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
President Eversotto?
Yes. I'd like a motion to open the public hearing for a 6B property tax exemption for 100 Chaddock.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Lang, second by trustee Vogel. Roll call, please.
Trustee Agiris?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Heer?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
President Eversotto?
The hearing is now open. Do we have anyone in the audience that wants to make a statement?
Good evening, President Abiscato, trustees, Village of Wheeling. Zachary Capitz, I'm here on behalf of Alpha Holdings LLC that's looking to purchase the property at 100 Chaddock Drive. The property is about 72,000 square feet on a 173,000 square foot site. It's been vacant for a number of years. Alpha Holdings is just is the entity that's purchasing the property, but really it's Precision Zone Inc. They'll be using the site and they'll be using it to repair warehousing and distribution of industrial controls and equipment used in manufacturing and other industrial applications. And here I have Felix Gorfin and Anton Koretskov, who are both with Precision Zone, and they can speak way more about what they do than I can. I think the big thing is that they're currently located in Wheeling on Edgety Drive in two smaller locations. One's 10,000 square feet, one's 15,000 square feet. They currently have a total of about 40 employees. They're going to initially bring 25 of those employees to this site and then hopefully add 50 within 2 years. And then within the first 5 to 10 years, they're hoping to grow to about 100 employees. They're also looking to put about $1 million into the site. They're really excited to continue growing and especially grow in Wheeling.
And I would not like to interrupt you from your conversation. The public hearing is for anyone that is for or against the property. You would come under the resolution, but you've already given us that information. So if there is no one that has any comment of the audience for the building, then I need a motion to...
So moved.
Motion
Second.
by trustee Agiris, second by trustee Vogel, and the roll call to close the public hearing.
Trustee Agiris?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Heer?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
President Eversotto?
Yes.
Item H2, resolution indicating municipal approval of a Cook County Real Estate Class 6B property tax exemption to Alpha Holdings LLC contract purchaser.
Mr. Fondelis.
Thank you, Madam President. I think you've heard a pretty good description of the project already. I'd just like to add to that because the site is vacant, they are already receiving county tax relief. Therefore, the impact to the Village of Wheeling at worst would be cost neutral. At best, we would certainly see an increase from what we are currently receiving. In addition, there are all the other tangential improvements that would be made and values that we would receive by having additional employees and another successful business in town.
Do you have any further questions?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Agiris, second by trustee Vogel. Roll call, please.
Thanks.
Trustee Agiris?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Heer?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
President Abiscato.
Yes, welcome, thank you, and we look for you to continue to improve and get larger and larger, and we'll find more property for you. Thank you. Do we have any official communication? If not, the approval of the bills of January 31st through February 20th. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Motion made by trustee Lang, second by trustee Here. Roll call, please.
Trustee Argyris?
Yes.
Trustee Heim?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Here?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
President Abiscato.
Yes. I need a motion to go into executive session to discuss pending probable or imminent litigation and the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of a specific employee or employees of the village. Do I have a motion? Motion made by trustee Adjuris,
Second.
second by trustee Here. Roll call, please.
Trustee Argyris?
Yes.
Trustee Heim?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Here?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
President Abiscato.
Yes, the board will go into executive session at 8:25.
Good, I gotta go to the bathroom.
I know, that's why I did that.